tell you enough. I want you to know. The 30 Things Vision Agenda for Youth is a comprehensive, transformative policy framework which is designed to reposition the youth at the center of sustainable development. It seeks to change mindset, ignite innovations, and empower young people to become drivers of economic, social, and environmental change. Across the African continent, from the bustling streets of Nairobi to the dusty villages of Bungoma, from Accra to Lagos, from Kigali in Rwanda to Cape Town in South Africa, one truth remains constant. The young, or rather youth, are the heart of the continent's destiny. Africa is the youngest continent on earth, with over 60% of its population under the age of 25. Kenya, like many other nations, boasts an energetic, creative, and determined youth population eager to shape the future, yet despite their potential, remain trapped in cycles of unemployment, poverty, hopelessness, and exclusion from governance. And therefore, it is the 30 Things Vision Agenda is built upon the three interrelated pillars. It is not merely a policy framework. It is a call to awaken the sleeping giant, the African youth. It is a roadmap designed to transform the mindset, empower communities, and build resilience against the social and economic barriers that have long hindered the progress. And therefore, the 30 Things is built upon three interrelated pillars: youth in action, youth and society, and climate change and agriculture. The agenda captures the 30 focus areas that address the holistic needs of young people across Africa, particularly in Kenya, while maintaining the global relevance. This policy therefore documents and presents a blueprint for the re-engineering of youth mindset from dependency to innovation, from consumption to creation, and from despair to hope. It recognizes that Africa's demographic advantage can only translate into prosperity through deliberate empowerment, structured mentorship, and inclusive participation in governance, economy, and society. Globally, the youth population is the largest in history. In Africa, over 60% of the citizens are under the 25 years old. The generation will determine whether Africa becomes a continent of opportunity or one of unfulfilled potential. The 30 Things Vision Agenda calls on all stakeholders, governments, private sectors, civil society, development partners, and the youth themselves to collaborate in shaping a sustainable, inclusive, and equitable future. The world is undergoing a rapid transformation, technologically, socially, and economically. Yet millions of young people remain in the margins, disconnected from opportunities that define the modern age in Africa. Youth and unemployment rates soar above 35%. In severe nations, the social exclusion continues to erode confidence in government system. Kenya reflects this continental reality. Each year, more than 1 million young Kenyans enter into labor market, but only a fraction secure stable employment. Many reports to informal work, underemployment, or unproductive survival strategies. Meanwhile, social issues such as the drug abuse, mental health challenges, gender-based violence, and disillusionment with politics continue to rise. The 30 Things Vision Agenda for Youth arises as an urgent response to these challenges. It acknowledges that economic solutions alone are insufficient. True transformation must also address mindset, character, values, and community consciousness. Globally, youth movements are redefining development, from climate activism in Europe to entrepreneurship in Asia and innovation hubs in Africa. The youth are demonstrating their capacity to lead. However, this potential requires policy alignment, institutional support, and inclusive leadership. The agenda therefore provides a policy-style roadmap for governments, organizations, and youth networks to structure empowerment efforts around 3 strategic categories, ensuring that young people participate meaningfully in shaping the future. The vision statement, therefore, is to create a globally conscious generation of empowered, skilled, and value-driven youth who actively participate in building inclusive, peaceful, and sustainable societies, whereby the mission is to provide a structured roadmap for youth transformation through empowerment, education, social well-being, innovation hubs, and environmental stewardship, promoting global collaboration while emphasizing the African leadership and solutions. Therefore, the core objectives of the 30 Things Vision Agenda is 1. To develop the intellectual, economic, and moral capacities of young people. 2. To strengthen young youth participation in governance, policy, and leadership. 3 is to create sustainable employment and entrepreneurship opportunities. 4. To address social challenges affecting the youth, including health, equality, and inclusion. And 5, to promote environmental stewardship, food security, and climate resilience. 6 is to connect African youth initiatives with global movements of sustainable development. 7 is to foster innovation, creativity, and use the digital technology to solving real-world problems. 8 is to establish a culture of mentorship, volunteerism, and civic responsibility. 9, to promote gender equality and protect the rights of vulnerable groups. 10 is to ensure youth remain central to the realization of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And therefore, the strategic pillar which we need to put into consideration as the first area is the youth in action. I refer to it as the category 1. This pillar focuses on empowering young people through active engagement in leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship. It seeks to shift the youth narratives from dependency to participation and leadership, where it also focuses on the empowerment, capacity, and active management of young people. In leadership, innovation and personal growth. It also challenges the culture of dependency and calls for a mindset shift from waiting for opportunities to creating them. And under this category, the focus area number 1 is youth empowerment. Empowerment involves giving young people access to resources, skills, and opportunities to make independent decisions in the African context, empowerment must go beyond token programs. It should entail targeted funding, skilled training, and legal frameworks that ensure youth participation in decision-making processes. Youth empowerment, therefore, is a heartbeat of transformation. It means giving young people the power, the tools, and the space to influence decisions that affect their lives. In Kenya, for instance, empowerment goes beyond giving handouts. It means enabling access to resources, skills, and opportunities. Empowered youth are more likely to innovate, create employment, and participate in governance. Therefore, government should institutionalize youth empowerment funds with accountability structures. The private sector must also provide internship, apprenticeship, and the innovation grants. Therefore, the empowered youth is the fuel of transformation. In essence, therefore, government must invest in youth innovation hubs, skill development centers, and mentorship platforms. Empowerment begins with self-awareness. When a young person understands their worth, they cease to be manipulated by political rhetoric and begin to demand accountability and justice. The focus area number 2 is the youth mentorship. Mentorship bridges the experience and aspiration. An African youth needs structured mentorship network connecting the professionals, elders, and community leaders with young people. This transfer of wisdom ensures continuity and integrity in leadership. Every successful leader has a mentor who walked before them. Mentorship bridges the gap between potential and achievement. In African society, mentorship used to be the natural process, elders guiding the young. However, modernization has diluted that culture. The vision agenda calls for a structured mentorship program connecting successful professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders with young people. Through mentorship, youth can avoid costly mistakes, gain confidence, and develop leadership skills. A mentored generation is a guided generation, less likely to fall into despair or manipulation. And therefore, mentorship builds confidence, ethics, and resilience, values that create leaders capable of balancing ambition with the service. Number 3 is youth employment. Youth employment remains both an economic and a moral imperative. The agenda calls for the multi-sectoral approach, expanding industrialization, investing in digital economies, and promoting job creation through local content policies. Unemployment remains one of Africa's greatest challenges. In Kenya, over 1 million young people join the job market annually, yet only a fraction can secure formal employment. The Vision Agenda therefore advocates for a dual approach, creating job opportunities through industrialization, agriculture, and digital innovation, and also equipping youth with employable skills aligned to with market needs. Government must partner with private sectors to develop apprenticeship and internship programs where employment is dignity, and giving youth jobs means giving them hope. In a nutshell, therefore, under this focus area, Training institutions must align curricula with the labor market demands. Youth employment is not just about earning a living. It is about restoring dignity and belonging. Then we have entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the key to breaking dependency on limited formal jobs. Africa's future billionaires will emerge from innovative youth who think differently, from tech innovators in Nairobi, Silicon Savannah, to small-scale manufacturers in Eldoret. A vision agenda calls for accessible funding mechanisms, youth enterprise funds, and business incubation centers. Young people must be taught to embrace risk, think long-term, and understand that entrepreneurship is not just about profit, it's about creating value for the community. Entrepreneurship therefore transforms scarcity into opportunity. The agenda encourages policy that promote startups, access to microcredit, and simplified registration for youth enterprises. Entrepreneurship training should begin in schools. Youth must be taught financial planning, market analysis, and digital marketing. The goal is to nurture the generation that creates jobs rather than seeking the jobs.
Hi guys, how are you? Pongezi, congratulations. Yani mlikuwa serious eh? Yani mlicheza kama nyinyi? Na vile niliwaahidi na mimi pia nitacheza kama mimi.
After entrepreneurship, we have financial literacy. Financial literacy is the backbone of economic independence. The agenda calls for mandatory financial education from secondary school level onward. Youth must learn budgeting, saving, and responsible investment. Global nations that prioritize financial literacy cultivate stable middle classes and reduce poverty. African youth can achieve the same transformation with proper education and discipline. Many young Africans are trapped in cycles of debt and poor financial decisions due to lack of financial literacy. Schools must integrate financial education into their curriculum to teach budgeting, saving, and investment. Empowered youth must learn that wealth is not measured by consumption, but by productive investment. Understanding the power of money transforms life. It builds responsible citizens and forward-looking leaders. Then we have the youth representation. Representation ensures that policy reflects youth realities. The agenda advocates for legal quotas for youth in political parties, parliaments, and corporate boards. Meaningful representation demands competency and integrity. When youth are included, the leadership decisions become inclusive and forward-looking. It is time to break the cycle where youth are used as political pawns. Real empowerment means representation in parliament, county assemblies, and boards. Kenya's constitution already provides for youth inclusion, but the implementation remains weak. The vision agenda therefore calls for institutional reforms to ensure young people are not only represented, but also heard and trusted with the leadership responsibilities. And therefore, representation is not tokenism. It is participation with impact. Next is education. Education must evolve from memorization to innovation. The agenda emphasizes curriculum reform, vocal training and STEM, that is science, technology, engineering and mathematics, which is anchored in the CBC education system. Education should promote problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Every child, regardless of background, must access quality learning. An educated youth population is the cornerstone of sustainable development. In a nutshell, therefore, education remains the greatest equalizer. The Vision Agenda calls for reforms that shift learning from rote memorization to skill-based, creative and problem-solving education. Young Africans must be trained to become thinkers, innovators and creators, not just job seekers. Investment in vocational and technical training must be prioritized to meet the demands of modern industries. Education is a liberation, the pathway out of ignorance and poverty. Then sports and art talent. As you can see, the President of the Republic of Kenya is addressing the issue on sports. Before I talk about this focus area, I urge that we listen.
Shughuli huku Nakuru sasa. Kesho naenda Kakamega, lakini nikirudi mtaa nitawatafuta. Sawa sawa. Alafu nipange vile niliwaeleza. Tumeelewana? Otherwise, congratulations. Niliwaambia Wakenya wote wako nyuma yenu. We are very, very proud of you guys. You have done great for our country. And you are demonstrating that Kenya is a great nation. Thank you very much. You have our support. Mimi nakimbia shughuli hapa Nakuru, lakini nitawaona Nairobi. Sawa?
Welcome. Sports and arts are not leisure. They are industries. The agenda calls for national investment in creative arts, cultural industries, and sports infrastructure. African global icons, athletes, musicians, filmmakers demonstrate the power of talent in economic development. Governments should integrate sports and arts into national employment strategies. Kenya has gifted athletes, musicians, actors, and artists whose talent remains untapped due to lack of structures and funding. The Vision Agenda urges governments to invest in sports academies, arts programs, and cultural industries. Sports and arts not only provide employment but also foster national pride, unity, and mental well-being. Every youth deserves a chance to shine in their unique talent. Then the next is Pan-Africanism. What is Pan-Africanism?
Thank you very much. God bless. Have a good day.
What is Pan-Africanism?
How are you doing? I'm good.
Pan-Africanism inspires unity, dignity, and collective progress. The youth must revive the ideology, emphasizing cooperation, cultural pride, and regional integration. Through youth networks, cross-border trade, and joint innovation platforms, Africa can harness its shared potential to drive continental prosperity.
And we have a very bad culture in our country where we misuse people's names and we get away with it, and it's not right.
Pan-Africanism is the spirit of unity among Africans. The youth must be taught that African strength lies in its unity, not its division. The Vision Agenda encourages young people to embrace African identity, promote trade among African nations, and support cross-border innovations. A united Africa can negotiate better, innovate faster, and stand taller on the global stage. The next is technology and digital literacy. What is technology? The fourth industrial revolution is here. The digital literacy is its passport. Youth must acquire skills in coding, cybersecurity, AI, that is artificial intelligence, and data analytics. The agenda promotes universal access to internet, connectivity, digital infrastructure, and innovation hubs. Digital inclusion ensures Africa's youth remains competitive in the global economy. The future is digital. Kenya's young innovators have already transformed banking, transport, and communication through technology. The Vision Agenda therefore prioritizes equipping every youth with digital skills from coding to cybersecurity, from e-commerce to artificial intelligence. Digital literacy therefore bridges the urban-rural gap, empowers innovation, and ensures African youth remain competitive in the global economy. The next agenda, rather the next category or a strategic pillar is youth and society, which I refer to it as category 2, youth and society. Yes, that is the category of youth and society. This category emphasizes the social well-being, health, and the moral foundation of youth. True empowerment is incomplete without addressing the social and cultural challenges that shape the young people. This pillar therefore focuses on health, social well-being, and moral development of young people. It recognizes that economic empowerment must go hand in hand with social transformation. And the first key area here is the menstrual health and hygiene, where menstrual health is the fundamental to gender equality, and millions of girls in rural Africa still face stigma and miss school due to lack of sanitary materials. The agenda calls for free sanitary pads, menstrual education, and public awareness campaign. Empowered girls become educated women. An educated woman can transform the society. Menstrual health is the basic right, yet many girls in rural Africa still suffer in silence due to stigma. The Vision Agenda advocates for free and affordable sanitary products, menstrual education, and the dismantling of taboos around menstruation. No girl should miss school because of her periods. Then we have sexuality education. Ignorance fuels early pregnancies, sexually transmitted infections, and gender-based violence. Comprehensive sexual education must provide appropriate and value-based teachings where young people are taught the responsibility and respect. Empowered youth understand that their bodies are sacred and that choices have consequences. Silence is not morality. Knowledge is protection. In that context, therefore, comprehensive sexuality education equips youth with accurate information and moral guidance. It promotes respect, responsibility, and healthy relationship. Without knowledge, myth and peer pressure dominate the agenda. It therefore supports culturally sensitive, age-appropriate sexuality education in schools and community programs. Then we have the female genital mutilation, FGMs. FGM violates human rights. And undermines the health. There was some power fluctuation, and therefore I apologize for the inconvenience that has hindered smooth running of this program, but I think it is getting fixed and we shall run well. As I was saying, the female genital mutilation violates the human rights and undermines the health. Despite global campaigns, it persists in parts of Africa. The agenda therefore advocates for strict enforcement of anti-FGM laws, rehabilitation for survivors, and community dialogues to end the practice permanently, which remains one of Africa's most harmful traditions. It is a tradition that is outdated anyway. Despite progress, thousands of girls still face this violation yearly. The Vision Agenda calls for stronger enforcement and community awareness and support for the survivors. Ending FGM therefore requires collective will from elders, youth, men to women. It is time to protect the girl child fully. Then number 4 is about the childhood marriages. Child marriage denies children education, health, and freedom. The agenda, therefore, supports programs that keep girls in school, engage parents, and economically empower families. Ending child marriage protects a generation's potential. Then we have childhood pregnancies, where teen pregnancies derail education and trap girls in poverty. The agenda therefore purposes youth-friendly health centers, mentorship programs, community awareness to support prevention and reintegration of young mothers into education systems. That is talent in the making.
So it is the 100 meters final. That is Maria Sophia Utawala. That's Lavenda Mutavi in lane number 3. Vincent Ndoro just won the 200 meters. Lillian Diana Awoko Owako finished second the 200 meters, and that is Lea Chemutai Chasebe of KDF, and that is Jacqueline Adoyo of Nairobi. That is the lineup for the 100 meters. No Esther Bagari did make it to the final.
Then the next is drug and alcohol and substance abuse. Substance abuse has become a pandemic among the youth. The agenda therefore calls for rehabilitation programs, strict regulation of illicit brews, and community-based awareness campaigns. The fight against drugs is a fight for the continent's future. Sober youth build sober nations. It is silently destroying Africa The vision calls for multi-pronged approach with strict enforcement laws on rehabilitation centers and community education. Young people must be reminded that intoxication steals their future dreams. A sober generation is a stronger generation.
Here we go. You can see it red there.
So let me know bali ICT olwo bantu baza akabarabata jimbiro gwe yani wakonectira kanini kano application direct
Na correct baba.
waza wali IT experts
Bwana.
sasa
Asante.
kino kyaba kyasikusie
Last week
oyo which country
Kenya sababu kwa mazoezi za Kasarani. Yeah.
okay sawa
Asante. Sawa.